All right. Oh, I got our gig. I got okay. So hello again, Jose. Hello, everybody out there. Am I coming through okay? Can people a nice backyard? I wish. Is there anybody out there? Ah, yeah, good joke. That'd be a good one. Exactly to warm up the crowd. Uh, Got to get Shane Gillis on here. George Carlin. All right, do I get? So he's requesting to come up. How do I? Wonder if Jose, can we hear you? Ah, Auntie, you're the superstar.
Howdy.
Hello.
How are we all?
Doing well. Hey guys.
Very well. Glad you guys can join us.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we appreciate you having us on. I know it was a little bit short notice, but no, it's good. Should be good. We got some stuff to share.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, especially since hey, my fidget spinner's back. I've been missing this for days. Um, especially since Xcode's not going to be joining us today because he is super swamped on HoloSim at the moment. So gotta get ready for that next chapter. Got some
Makes sense.
cool. I gotta
Got a lot of stuff happening.
some cool Star Wars gear back there. Nice.
I do.
Yeah.
My lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah. Sweet. I have to be candid. I'm really only a fan of like two of the six Star Wars movies. Maybe three. Three, I guess. Right? Like to New Hope and then The Empire Strikes Back and then Revenge of the Sith, I think are really the only three of them that I really like. So
Classics. What's your
yeah.
thoughts on Andor?
Okay, so Andor is I okay, yeah, that's a like one of the really good like yeah, series. Absolutely, yes. Although I know I watched season one. I'm pretty sure I watched season two, but it's a little blurry at the moment. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
that's
from like
okay.
11
Oh,
movies.
good. Would you mind also inviting Donson to speak? He's part of the team.
Okay. Yeah. Where is he? I'm not.
He is
Oh,
in
Donson
the
000. Yeah. Okay. Right to speak. There we go. There, we're gonna like have a full stage, man. I cannot hear you, Jose. No.
We were just talking about Andor and how is it visual? What name do you go by?
Yeah, visual JC. Yeah, that's fine.
Visual JC. Our visual saying he only really appreciates 3 of the Star Wars movies,
Yeah.
which I can't fault you for that.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to admit that when I was younger, I loved them all. But then it's like as I've rewatched them more and more, it's just like there's just if Jar Jar Binks was the actual Dark Jedi, maybe that would have made that movie even better. So,
I agree.
Ah,
yeah,
Free Darth
guys,
Jar Jar.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
I was talking for like 5 minutes, and, and I and I was like, why no one is replying? Are they
We're just
bullying
ignoring
me?
you. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Jesus. Sorry,
Wait,
guys.
yeah.
Welcome,
It's
Lancer, Yard,
How are
Donson.
you,
It's
Jose?
a pleasure to have you guys here. Super excited for today.
very
Great to be
nice.
here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Pleasure. So, Jean,
Absolutely.
did you give the community a little brief on what we are going to talk about today?
No, I was leaving all the great introductions to you. I was just randomly rage baiting Star Wars fans. So
Awesome, awesome. So I promise I'll be super brief. Today, as you guys can see in the title of this brew, we are going to talk about events in Galia. And we are blessed to have here some very special people from our community, OG events builders of the Star Atlas ecosystems, the guys from Super Phoenix DAO. And they have been cooking something really, really cool for us. No way you are doing this to me, Santi. Keep it steady. And
I'm
are
hearing
they
you.
trolling? Ah, Jesus, mother, got
Did we
me.
lose him again?
Yeah, no way.
I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you now.
You hear me? I know.
Sati.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speak,
Santi's
speak
trolling
quickly
me.
before we lose you again.
All right.
Exactly. So, without further
Sati.
ado, we are going to let the Super Phoenix DAO tell us what they have been cooking, and then we'll get into some theory crafting on what the future of of events in Galia Expanse looks like. We're going to talk about predictive markets. We are going to talk about Web3 integrations. We are talking about Zinc. So it's going to be a good conversation. Without further ado, guys, Super Phoenix DAO, the stage is yours.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Jose. I don't know, Lanzer and Johnson, if you don't mind, I could probably jump in a little bit and then let you guys kind of take it away.
Please.
I think you got. All right, good deal.
You are the
So,
fearless leader. Go for it.
all right, all right. No, I appreciate it. So it's great that you guys are giving us some time to kind of chat about it. I know we were here in the space. I want to say, I don't know, it was the end of November or maybe early December when we were doing the initial tournament launch back in mid-December there, kind of in tandem with Solana Breakpoint. And so that was probably the last time folks maybe heard about the project, and we've obviously been cooking quite a bit since then.
Oh, did he cut off for you guys as well?
He did.
Oh, jeez.
I was hoping it was just me.
Discord.
Man, Discord is wild today.
It is. Yeah, I froze.
While we're waiting on him, is my video backwards right now?
I don't even see a video.
You can see Super Phoenix Sports, the thing right there.
I see the logo.
Oh, have you
Yeah,
guys heard
yeah.
anything? Did I just get
Not
into?
in the past minute or so, Nord.
We heard you
Yeah.
say
Okay.
your name.
Okay. All right, I'll keep a better eye on it then. All right, I guess what I was getting at there was just a general update as far as Super Phoenix Sports goes. Last time we were here, we were talking about it for the inaugural tournament launch back in December, which went pretty well. And so we got some new stuff cooking. We'll be doing new tournaments here coming up next month, and a brand new website. We want to get people in, get involved, check it out. And even what Jose was just saying, we're talking a little bit about prediction markets, some of the betting components, things that we want to add on our end too for kind of this new esports avenue that we're tackling with Super Phoenix and Super Phoenix Sports. So all of that to come. I'll kind of let Lanzer and Donson do a little bit more of the details on it because they're really into the structure and the breakdown and exactly kind of what we're doing and the schedule. But ultimately, we're also reaching out to guilds here in the community. Been chatting with a lot of folks, kind of one-on-one, and we want to keep doing that. So if anybody's curious or interested, certainly hit us up. And then the same with content creators. I've kind of started reaching out to folks to see where everybody's at and what the pulse is right now on those things, because we're happy to jump in and provide some content and things to hopefully discuss and talk about within Star Atlas. So I would say with that, I can kind of kick it over to Lanzer. I think you got some slides maybe to go through and give a few more details, and we'll go from there.
I do indeed. We're going to start off with a little promo video that we prepared, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it after that.
Everybody seeing his screen? I'm not seeing.
I see it.
Yeah, you need to click on him.
Yeah, no, I click. I'm just getting the spinny boxes.
That come through okay? Did y'all see that?
Came through, no audio, but came through for me.
Came through no audio. Okay, well, I'll take it. The Discord today, I'll take it. All right, everybody. We're back again. This is Super Phoenix Sports. And last time we came to you, like Nord said, we were coming to you with a future event that we were putting together called Clash of Titans. Clash of Titans was held in December and it was a huge success. We had over 75 live viewers who watched the stream, which put us in the top 1% of Twitch for the month of December and the top 6% of YouTube streaming for also the month of December. That was a a very strong opening right there to reach that sort of thing. Meaning we were at the top 1% of many thousands of other streamers because of the support the community gave us in December. We also had a Irish Bounty in-person event, and that was headed up by Funcracker. There, I'll blow that up for you. Thank you very much for Funcracker for putting that together. And a lot of people, I think it was more than 10 people had showed up to that. And here there was also a video where everyone was clinking glasses together while watching it. And because it wasn't a pub or a cafe of sorts, it was really loud. So y'all were able to watch it, but you weren't able to hear anything. So good times all around, though. There was an actual event in Abu Dhabi, a watch party. So thank you again to Funcracker for putting that together and everyone who attended in person. I saw some familiar faces in there, Jith and also Brian and others who were there. We distributed more than $5,000 in prizes to include ship NFTs and other things like that. And it was just a really strong opening. It was a big success where we were able to broadcast the event and host a tournament for more than 35 participants. So again, thank you all for your support. And the good news is we're here today to tell you about what's going to happen next and the road forward. So Super Phoenix Sports, we're always looking for people to join the team. Both paid and volunteer positions are open, which we'll go over here in a second. But the mission of the Super Phoenix Sports team is and remains to host competitive events for the Star Atlas community. That's for mostly all of us to know. External, it's to showcase the Star Atlas ecosystem and all the cool things like UE5 to the Web3 community and the gaming world. That is the unofficial mission, and our goals to reach hosting competitive events there on the right hand side is by the end of March, we'll have hosted about 4 weekly tournament sessions for Star Racer. We'll host the inaugural Star Shooter, and we have some numbers down there below to help achieve success and the continued survival, let's call it, but the continued operation of Super Phoenix Sports. Because just like everyone else, we have a runway, we have a budget, and we have different revenue that we have to make in order to continue showcasing and hosting these events. For the tournament ops, we increased to 24 folks. So our team has been growing, and you'll see a lot of familiar faces on this, like Brujo, Inye representing Athia, Nopeta, and Bohemian. There are a lot of familiar faces that you'll see on this team, and we've been growing ever since. Donson here with us today is operations team lead, which is the red team over here on the left-hand side. He makes sure that all of the races go and function as intended. But you'll see we also have a stream team who headed up by Odd Frog, who makes sure that what you see is visually pleasing. You want to watch it. It's a fun event. And then the support team or all the graphics and all the growth and the outreach, all the video editing, even our recruiting. So that video you just saw was part of the support team who prepared that for today. We are always looking for folks. Right now there's one paid position that needs to be filled, which is the support team lead role. Right now I'm filling that, and until we can hire in someone who organizes, trains, and equips the support team, which is mostly all of the marketing, the graphics, the video editing, and the recruiting. So if you think that's a good thing for you, you're a good fit for that, please reach out to Nopeta. You can find him here in the Discord or also the Super Phoenix Sports Discord, and we'll work that with you. Also, we are always taking augmentees. Augmentees are volunteers who just want to help. You you have some time and effort that you're willing to put toward growing the Star Atlas ecosystem with us, and it could be as little or as much as you want in any position you'd like. So that's kind of like a pool of augmentees that we're building to make Super Phoenix Sports be able to deliver on its mission in a bigger and better way. For our event timeline, we have a lot of things that are coming up, and as we've been talking about in the AMA and the town hall. But for our purposes here today, what we're going to go over is Star Racer and Star Shooter. These are the things that are going to be important to both those of you who want to participate in the races and the shooting event, and also watch and participate in the brackets and all the other things that we're able to offer. So for Star Racer, the Open 2026 season was going to start this past Sunday, but we had to push it in order to line some things up and make it better in the long run. So we pushed it a month to start March 1st. So all of you who were confirmed in February, apologies for that. We're starting at March 1st. It'll run for 3 weekends. So Star Racer will run for 3 weekends. There'll be a championship match out of that, and you're registering as an individual racer. We have an open league, and then like I mentioned, it results in a championship. There will be cash and ship prizes to be announced a little bit more detail as we approach March. And then Star Shooter will happen, and that's going to be hosted on March 29th, the last Sunday of the month. You'll be registering as teams, and I think we already have 4 or 6 DACs that have already expressed interest, like Vanguard, Chimera, all the normals. I think Rome as well, but we're still reaching out to confirm everyone's interest. So it'll be a 4v4 style event, and it'll also be March Madness elimination until we reach the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the championship. It too will have cash and ship prizes as well for the winners. And yeah, so that was the first thing I needed to articulate and communicate out to everyone is it moved from February to March, and we think we'll be able to give a much more refined and well tuned broadcast that we can get more involvement in. Also, on our way ahead here is our February roadshow. Nord mentioned that in the very beginning, where we're reaching out to all the DACs, going to Discords, hosting town halls and AMAs so that we can answer questions and really just spread the word that this is coming. We would love everyone to participate, whether or not you're a gamer, or a racer, or a shooter, or you're just watching, or you're participating in the brackets. Whatever your interest is there, we would love to have you. Like I said, the mission is for Super Phoenix Sports to host competitive events for the Star Atlas community. But in the larger vision here is to showcase Star Atlas to the world. And we do that by running consistent matches, by having these tournaments and participation and people who watch as well as play. So whatever your interest level is there, we would love to have you. If you are a DAC, and you would like us to come to your town to do a town hall or an AMA with you, please reach out to Norder Money. They are scheduling that right now and working out the schedule there. Money is in the chat. He is answering questions, so feel free to ask there as well. And please, 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 if you see a post, whether it be from Super Phoenix Sports handle or the We Are Star Atlas handle, and it's related to Super Phoenix Sports, please like, repost, and fave. It helps out immensely with the algorithm so that we can showcase Star Atlas far and wide. As we integrate the patch updates that we're expecting out of February, this will be the thing that will allow us to refine our tournament and our broadcast to something near professional level. And that's why we pushed it to March so that we could await those patches to happen for the in the game UE5, and then that's the last thing we'll need to be ready. If you want to play as a player, whether for Star Shooter or Star Racer, please contact Inye and Brujo. If you want to join the team, please contact Nopera. Okay, what's next? So joining the team, it's the same thing as last time. We've now transitioned to a monthly USDC payment for paid staff. It'll help build your resume and your CV experience because we're pushing a product and that product has measurable results. You're helping to grow the Star Atlas ecosystem, and even if you just like to help out some of the time, we would love to have you as an augmentee. Some team expectations. We need you to know our mission, which everyone in here now knows what our mission is. Our team is proactively completing our goals. We don't really sit back and wait for things to happen. We meet every single week. We have team meetings and we have action items that we're accomplishing so that we can give the best product come March. It's usually about 2 events a week, which is the team meeting and then also the tournament. So we need help on both fronts, the planning and the execution. And to be a teammate, you need to help your teammates succeed. We are a Star Atlas community, and the Super Phoenix, we very much look at each other as teammates where we help each other as much as we possibly can because what's the old saying? The rising tide raises all boats. So we would love for you to join us. Participate, please. With this recent round of the layoffs that happened, it our thoughts and prayers are out with everyone who was affected. And this is one way that we're going to continually push Star Atlas out into the Web3 sphere and the gaming communities so that Star Atlas can remain on the map and remain in people's minds. And we can't think of a better way right now to do that than to make sure these tournament events happen. They look great, they look refined, and there's cash prizes to keep people involved and interested. So that's what I wanted to go over. Donson, our ops lead, did you have anything you wanted to remark on?
Yeah, I mean, so this is kind of an interesting time for us. Shane's giving his recruitment pitch right now, and it's kind of a unique time to recruit, right? Because we are simultaneously growing the team while shrinking the teams, right? And I say that because our goal right now, we put on a single large tournament, right? Which had our huge team working on it, 32 racers, lots of things going on. So right now we are trying to specialize our team into smaller independent groups, right? Because we can't just put out one giant tournament a month. We got to put out regular events. So the big push we're doing right now on our team is to get our guys trained up so that we can work in smaller teams and run more regular events. So that's going to be a very interesting thing for us as we move forward operationally, right? And also a very good thing if you had any interest in learning how to stream, how to not just on a video side, but how to actually manage the operations. You're going to be in very small, dedicated teams, and you'll have hands-on experience learning how to run this stuff. So this is going to be particularly important as we switch from Star Racer into Star Shooter as well. Because as we continue doing races, we'll have one team running races while we are then having a second team figure out how to put on the shooter events. So definitely versatile members who are picking up a lot of skill sets is starting to really become the driver here, right? A really strong core team. So again, it's unique. We are actively shrinking our teams while growing personnel. So it's pretty cool right now, and definitely one of the big things that we're excited to see is as we have legitimized ourselves, put on events, and start to show a more professional product. the Star Atlas leadership team and the development team is starting to give us, more face time and really starting to work with us a lot more and, see these events as something that really synergizes well with their goals. So I'm sure Nord could talk more to that. I'm not going to go off on a huge tangent here, but from an ops perspective, it's very exciting, not just for ops but for stream as well, because now a lot of the hurdles that we've been dealing with to try to get this put on screen to make it look good, they're going to be
There were so
streamlining
many.
that down. So many hurdles, right? You had a game that wasn't quite ready for like esport level streaming, right? Particularly, and I won't get into making the sausage too much, but particularly in how we had to get video feeds. And anyone who was in the races will know that our racers. I appreciate you guys so much for jumping through those hoops with us and giving us your feeds for the game. I know that it was not the easiest thing, and then for some of you, it affected your game performance, but. It looks like, I can't make any promises. I'm not on the dev team, but it looks like that's going to be a thing of the past. And we'll be able to get feeds directly from the game. So if that works, then, this is just going to be a much more streamlined process, and we'll start being able to get out a lot more regular matches, putting out a lot of content, and, not just for the people who want to get involved, for the people who just want to watch, and who knows, maybe make it better too. So we got exciting things coming up, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and something that he was alluding to that I'll say outright is that now that the UE5 space component has come out, Starfighter is what'll happen after Star Shooter. So we're already thinking about how we can keep up with the Star Atlas dev team and all the new things that are coming out. So once we're done with the inaugural event of Star Shooter, that will become a regular season event, just like Star Racer will be. And then the next thing we'll hit is Starfighter. So for all of you space junkies out there, be prepared for some dogfighting after Star Shooter, and we look forward to growing with you all. Lord, back to our fearless leader.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Excellent work, guys. No, I appreciate it. That gives people a really good background on kind of where we're at now, kind of what the structure is, and some details as far as the project and the races go. And I just want to emphasize, like, there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes, but we've got a lot of help now from the Star Atlas team, which has been phenomenal. We're really looking forward to, like I said, the live stream experience that we're going to put out. I think it's going to be really top quality. We should get a lot of good attention, a lot of good eyeballs from folks, both here internal and external of the community. So I definitely want to emphasize that. I mean, I know there's a lot of questions about how's this going to work, or does it make sense, or is it worthwhile, and all that. And really, we just need people to kind of participate and check it out. It's been phenomenal getting racers and players in and signed up ahead of time from the community. That's been people have been really, really good about that, which has been great. And same with even the team. We, still have a position or so open, but it's been great, being able to get volunteers and people to fill in as quickly as they did, which is awesome. But anyway, I just want to say, we definitely are reaching out beyond kind of the traditional boundaries here of just the Star Atlas ecosystem, which is what's really cool, I think, about what we're building in the product, right? The fact that we're doing the live streams, we're going to be on Twitch. We're doing a direct partnership with Solana Gaming. So we've got a live event that we're working on kind of like this style next week, getting out to their audience. And then they're also going to be kind of plugging in some of our live stream gaming through their channel as well. So again, a lot more exposure through Solana Gaming and the wider kind of Solana Web3 network. So we're excited about that. And then there's a few external communities too that we've been talking to, not just our internal, SA guilds. And some of these are pretty substantial. And I think there's really great opportunity for us to start onboarding some people, at least through this, this product and what we're putting together, which is a phenomenal stream, really high quality production value, highlighting Star Atlas Racing and the shooter. And then, of course, the last component here is the website and the betting piece is how we're looking to monetize this down the road. And again, it's an easy, or it's a lower barrier to entry for folks who are maybe not already familiar with the game or playing Star Atlas necessarily. But obviously, there's a lot of chatter right now about the whole betting scene, and I think those tools are really perfect for blockchain and kind of what we're building. So we're excited to kind of pull it all together. obviously use Star Atlas as kind of our launch pad for all of this because the community here has been great. And I just think there's a great opportunity. So I want to put that out there and let folks know that we're really pushing. We're having a lot of great conversations both inside and outside the community. Yeah, and we're really looking to have this take off in the next couple of months. So again, I just want people to come and check it out. Be prepared for the live streams that'll be going with the initial races on March 1st. And then again, if you want any more info, let us know, or if we can come and chat, with folks in your guild or your, player organization, let us know because we're all about it. And I'm scheduling those multiple a week right now. So we're kind of, like I said, doing the road show, and we should be in great shape here in a couple of weeks.
Rock on.
Guys, first of all, W's in the chat for the Super Phoenix DAO team. This is super cool. Like, there's no way around it. We love you guys. You guys have been shipping stuff for Star Atlas, and this new audacious plan looks even cooler than everything that I have seen before. This is awesome. I am super happy with everything that you guys have been building, and I'd love to ask the community if they have any questions for the SP DAO team. I saw some people asking for links if they can already register their teams, things like that, guys. How is it looking?
Yeah, if you go to, I just put the Discord in the chat. If you go there, and it's a pretty easy process once you go there. Inge and Brujo are our player registrants, so they have already registered a lot of players. So contact Inge and Brujo, and they will make sure you get situated.
Awesome.
It's pretty easy process. You just answer some questions about some things. You give a bio so that we can create some graphics and player cards, and then
private
show up to
keys
the races and the matches.
and GG.
GG.
No, I'm joking. So guys, make sure you register. This is going to be a super cool event. This is the opportunity to test your skills, to help Star Atlas get more visibility, to have fun with your friends, and to test your skills that you have been building through all these years here in Star Atlas. It is a no-brainer. Everyone in the community should be participating, if not playing, surely watching and helping spread the holy gospel here of Star Atlas. Huge win here. I am also super excited to learn about more details on your plans to monetize the whole events, like adding it to prediction markets, enabling people to be more involved directly. This is something that Jim is going to cover in depth because this is a very interesting topic. But I feel one of the great ways for us to bring attention, to bring more engagement here, is the prediction markets. And I tell you this from my experience here in Brazil. As you guys know, Brazilians love football. We are obsessed about it. And we were obsessed about it before prediction markets existed. Now, every children in high school is looking at statistics. They are following their players just in order to win the games where they need to predict the outcome of the games, the matches, etc. So this brings a new level of depth, of engagement, of involvement. And our product is reaching the stage where we are mature enough to start having this kind of infrastructure layered up on what we are creating here in Star Atlas. So I'm really looking forward to see how you guys are going to implement this. Super excited. And I don't know, Jim, do you have anything to add, my friend?
You're on mute.
You're muted, Jim.
He was so awestruck.
We can't hear you still. Yeah.
Do you know sign language? Can you hand signals? That would.
Oh, Okay, he's back. We hear you.
You hear me now?
I
Yep,
can hear you.
we got
Like that horrible Verizon commercials. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Um, yeah, exactly. Come on, Discord. Um, so I was going to say, I think one of the things that piggybacking on what you said, that ultimately, and we were talking about this earlier, the value of any entertainment, sports being one of them, when you can add speculation on top of that, just significantly increases the value to the community, right? And we were talking about you highlighted it about how prediction markets, by enabling sports speculation in a more wider base, right? With less regulation, are even increasing the value of Brazilian football. So it's not zero anymore. It's like worth $10 now or something. So um, but that was a jab, just because I'm having fun. Um,
yeah.
but ultimately, like, and I I got involved in this years and years and years ago when I was working in the fan engagement space in sports. Just how much wagering. I mean, look at any European football game, right? I mean, it's all of the major sponsors are betting sites, right? And I would even argue that the Premier League would have a struggle to be financially stable if it didn't have wagering on top of it, right? As one of its main sponsors. Almost every team in the Premier League, one of their major sponsors is some sports betting outfit. So, and we're seeing that in the United States too, with the legalization and then the prediction markets. I mean, for some people who a little bit different that's interesting about the prediction markets and is ultimately is it's not a wager against the person and the bookie, the house, right? It's a wager between two people facilitated by the prediction market, right? And like parimutuel wagering that comes from horse betting and dog racing and things like that. um it ultimately, the your odds, what you win, is based on the volume of people betting one side or the other, or betting one part of it the other. And it's not a casino or a bookmaker setting the odds with vig and juice in their favor. And ultimately, it's a to me a much it's kind of a much better way to enable speculation economy on top of something that has a lot of entertainment value. Again, I was talking about it with Jose, like my kids when we're doing fantasy American football, right? Because we as parents put $100 thing for, $60 for the top, $30, and then $10, right? Like my kids were watching football games for teams they didn't even American football games, teams they didn't even care about because they had players that were playing for that, and they had, this whole speculation on top of it. And I think there's a ton of value, not to just kind of be long-winded about this, which I'm already getting there. So there's a lot of value in looking at the Star Atlas economy transitioning just from a production economy. Like, I would the thing that we talked about, Jose, earlier is, if you look at World of Warcraft, like, why are people willing to buy gold coins, and why are people willing to farm gold coins in World of Warcraft? Is you got people who have more money than time that don't want to grind the game. They just want to get right to the entertainment value of the game. And so they buy coins from people who are willing to grind those out, and it creates this production economy inside of the game. And Star Atlas is really focused on that, but not necessarily enough on the entertainment value, which is really what Holosim and C4 are about, is beginning to leverage that entertainment value so we can get to places where people don't just grind fleets, they don't just manage supply chains, right? They're doing fun things on top of that, and they want to spend their time doing those fun things, so they're willing to buy the supplies and things that they need from others who are willing to grind out the game. And that's one layer of the economy, right? But then if we can start throwing speculation on top of that, right? Things like what Star Racer and Star Shooter, right? So suddenly you get, tournaments where skills-based players are willing to wager against each other, right? I'm the better racer, so I'm going to wager, and we're facilitating a tournament like that. Um, and then you get on top of that, then the people who are spectators beginning to wager on that. And I'm we might get kicked off YouTube with the word wager too much, right? They're willing to make speculation predictions on top of that. It just begins to add more and more value, more and more entertainment value, more and more monetary value to the Star Atlas, ecosystem. And when we talk about theory crafting and some of the things like, so I'm super excited about what the DAO's done, and as people who get to know me more will know that I've been like deeply thinking about a lot of these things. Um, Primarily because like you said, with Star Atlas, there was obviously layoffs. It's like how do we as a company start to create more entertainment value so that there's a bigger pool, and from that bigger pool, we can generate more income for everyone involved with it, right? So, um, anyways, that's my big spiel. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic, and I want to reach out to the Super DAO team after this and be like, hey, can we help? You know what I mean? So, but I don't speak for Star Atlas, right? I'm not Wagner, so it's just me as a guy who's really into these kind of things. So
uh,
Well, I'm going to go
I
ahead
want
and
to.
Thank
say
you for your support.
that'd be wonderful. We
yeah,
That
could
would be.
open to conversation and happy for any help you guys are willing to throw our way. I completely agree with the sentiment. Layering this on is exactly the way to go, and that's what we're looking at. Right, the game is now in a great place where we can start hosting these events, building up an audience, getting the live stream out. Working on the spectator sport version of this, and then ultimately layering that betting component on it is just kind of the perfect trifecta. I mean, we're really excited about building real rivalries between the guilds and between players, and then highlighting players and kind of building them up in status, right? And you start building that almost like fandom around some of your top shooters and top racers. That stuff just feels so much fun, right? Like really interactive, and kind of takes the whole entertainment component up a notch. So that's really the whole idea.
yeah, no, absolutely. Um, and I'm like super open to having a massive conversation on the brood, but just everybody know that anything that comes out of my mouth does not represent Star Atlas, right? Like I know I got Star Atlas everywhere, but uh, you know, as somebody who plays a lot of poker and really looking at to me, and I think I've mentioned this in other brews, like online poker is a $65 billion industry, right? And it's and ultimately the poker stars, the other places that do that, the global pokers, and they're ultimately just facilitating a game between two people, and they're just taking a small percentage, and they're incredibly profitable. And I think there's a real opportunity um for Star Atlas and for Super DAO and for things like that, Super Reading Sound, to be like that, to be like, hey, we're facilitating fun entertainment between groups of people, and we just take a small rake out of that, and that's how we pay our bills. And so I think it's a lot of really cool ideas. One of the things I've thrown around outside of Super DAO, and I want to keep promoting you because you guys are doing some awesome stuff. But what if, for example, in HoloSim, what if people buying a battle pass, that battle pass went into a pot, and whichever faction won that season of HoloSim win that pot, right? And then all of a sudden HoloSim could have Web3 economics, even though the game is 100% basically kind of free to play, right? And that will kind of how much more does it add to that game, if and again, I'm just throwing this out as just total theory crafting, like I don't know that this will ever happen or whatever, but it's just something that's been in my mind, thinking about how to make Holosim even more engaging with that layer of speculation on top, right? And how do you add more utility to the battle pass, besides just getting more stuff that's in the game through the battle pass? Like I said, suddenly if we had you know 10,000 people all register with the battle pass, and there's now $100,000 pot to win. And all of a sudden, if mud is winning, it actually has some financial consequences, and people gotta be engaged. I just think there's some cool aspects to that we could be working on. So
I
anyways.
would I would love to hear the community opinion on this. Guys in the chat, let us know what you guys feel about adding predictive markets to Star Atlas gameplay loops, adding this kind of economic systems to things like Holocene, etc. I see many people typing in the chat, so let's hear it. Isn't that gambling and scam? VB is asking. No, we don't do
Well,
this here, VB.
I mean, so ultimately, one of the things that was kind of talked about, I think Nord mentioned it, is this difference between skills-based wagering and gambling. And at least in the United States, and everybody's different. So like places like Europe have said no, that there's enough element of skill in poker that poker is actually a skill-based game, right? And it ultimately comes down to the amount of randomness that ultimately that sets who can win and lose. And then there's also this expectation of, is the game rigged in somebody's favor or not? So blackjack, for example, and roulette, it's rigged in the house's favor, right? And everybody who plays that knows that, right? Whereas again, poker is not rigged in anybody's favor. Someone who's played a lot of poker, if I play you a million times and you play me a million times, we're both going to get pocket aces against pocket kings the same number of times, right? So ultimately, it comes down to a skill based game, even though there is an element of luck. And so really understanding the nuances between skills based wagering, uh, where two skilled players are shooting each other in a game of skill, right? They're playing basketball, or they're playing, they're playing soccer against each other, or they're playing, Star Racer or Star Shooter. There's a skill, and we're facilitating wagering on that skill, is significantly different in the eyes of the law than if I'm setting up a thing where I have an edge. Every time we flip a coin, you make $5, and every time it's heads, I make $10, so I have an odds, and there's complete randomness. Though that's actually gambling. And so no, the ultimate thing I'm trying to get at here is, I have no desire to set up some kind of predatory gambling scam, right? Where people are like, losing their mortgages, right? And that is one of the big difference between a prediction market and a sports book. A sports book, for people who aren't into sports betting, is going to have something called VIG, or juice, and that's basically a built-in advantage to the sports book. And that's where they make the most money. A prediction market doesn't do that. You're betting against another person, and then the prediction market is just taking a small fee, and they don't care who wins or loses, and there's no reason to that. So, anyways, um,
I just like to say for the record that if it's all skills based, right up until you pair Lanzer up against Brujo, and that's what's known as a curb stomp. So
right,
it's all
right,
relative in
right.
the end.
It is all relevant. And the interesting thing about skills-based wagering, and this is something, like I said, I'd love to have a deeper conversation with your team about, is ultimately skills-based wagering becomes a race to zero. Right? Like I'm not going to bet I'm not going to bet against Messi that I could beat him in a shootout, anytime, because he's going to beat me 100 times out of 100, right? He's just that much more skilled in football than I am. Just like I wouldn't bet LeBron James in a one-on-one in basketball. Right. So there's becomes this problem, and there's companies like skills.com and Game Taco and others that have the ultimate problem that we get to with skills is that eventually it becomes where just the top players are just playing against each other, and they're just basically exchanging money to each other left and right. It becomes chess, right? Like, I'm not going to beat Magnus Carlsen ever in chess, so I would never wager against playing against him, right? And there's some things that I've been thinking, and we've been talking internally too, about how we could make skills-based wagering plus sweepstakes plus some things. What could be ways to kind of, again, engage the community, where they're not ever going to be the top racer, but maybe they still want to be involved in the race, for specific reasons, right? So those are some other interesting things to talk about. I could talk, and unfortunately, like, this is something I think about all the time, and I could talk about it forever. Um,
For Super
and
Phoenix Sports, what we've been doing to manage that is we're starting to create a ranking system. It's in its early stages right now, but we have kind of like an internal ranking that like an ELO
Sure.
But also, in order to manage it now, we had a qualifying phase where the racers would qualify their times, and then we would seed the racers based on like a relative skill matching. That way,
Right.
we could make it a little bit less imbalanced and ensure that seemed fair along the whole route. And then,
Sure.
yeah, so that's how we're dealing with it right now.
Yeah, and an ELO system is very interesting because the one trouble that, like, so for example, skills.com, right, or skills, their skills with a Z, they're a big public corporation that kind of really pioneered the skills-based wagering systems. One of the things that happens with an ELO system, though, is that eventually, if I'm always playing people of even skill, over 1 million matches will be 50-50, and we'll both have lost money to the company taking the rake, right? To the organization taking the rake. And so if people are in it not just for the entertainment value, if they're actually in it to try to be positive side, the ranking system ultimately ends up creating an environment where they don't there's no advantage to their skill because they're always playing people of their same skill, right? And in places like pool halls, right? That's why you get pool sharks who try to fake their skill level to get somebody who's not as skilled as them to wager against them, right? Um,
Touche. Yeah, that's true.
yes. So in the long term, kind of thinking about how, eventually if you only have the top racers and they're only racing each other and they're just again exchanging back and forth, and it's not profitable for them, and that's where things like outside sponsorship comes in, right? I mean, that's how like F1 and NASCAR and even the NBA leagues where ultimately outside money comes in to kind of make it profitable for the players who are always competing against each other at basically the same skill level, right? You know what I mean? So
We have secured some sponsorships already, so that started
sweet,
happening, and it's been out from outside the Star Atlas ecosystem through different personal connections, but also just interest level of one organization. Um, it, their clients are Web3 people, so this is of value to them to try and take a chance on doing tax business and that sort of thing, like Web3
right?
taxes. So we have that component. And then someone in
Smart,
AFIA AMA this past week brought up a really, really awesome question. Um, what about non-competitive events? Like what if I just wanted to play and have fun, not necessarily try and aim for a championship every time? The good news is that I come from the very casual atmosphere. So I am looking forward to when we can start offering non-competitive events like who can beat each other to death the fastest in melee only mode in shooter, or who can run each other off of the road and explode all your teammates like twisted metal almost. So there are different things that we're thinking about which are going to have to come after Starfighter even, but I am looking forward to that to kind of level out the feeling of eventually it's going to be the top players always fighting the top players, and then those it's almost another plateau that we reach.
right?
So we're constantly trying to evolve and adapt and make it fun and interesting for everyone, whether you're playing or watching.
Yeah, well, and it's a great. I want to Nord just looks like yours, but ultimately, like I play basketball once a week, for the pure enjoyment of it, right? And I play against other people who are generally my skill level, right? So I think, yeah, absolutely. Like just providing events, it doesn't have to always be. And I think that's one thing that's got to the Web3 community in a sense has to transition and understand that it can't always be about ROI, right? It also has to be about entertainment and fun, that there's like that's the games at their core are need to be fun, and then ROI gets to add on kind of top of that. So
Yep.
um
That's all I had. I'm gonna have to go here pretty soon. Nord, was there anything that you'd like to go over?
No, we could kind of wrap on it. I think you guys are hitting all the key points, which I agree. And Jim, just to your point, we're kind of doing a hybrid of that, right? So right out of the gate here, the initial betting mechanism we're using is effectively sweepstakes betting until we get the prediction markets up and running. We'll be able to do some more, multi-line betting, kind of parlay style. So we want to have a a variety of options for folks once we get a little bit deeper into it and we have the shooter going and we have more stats that we can pull and all that stuff. So we stick in that skill based range. But ultimately, right, those true prediction market pools keep it much more wide open to what you can kind of wager against. And we've already, like Lanza was saying, we've had a lot of interest in just the exhibition style matches, which we would be all about, right? It'd be great to have just two guilds who've been talking smack and playing in Holosim want to come and duke it out in an arena match for fun, and then be able to place wagers on that. That's maybe not just the curated best of the best through the tournament structure. So I think we can really offer a pretty wide variety that way. Yeah, it should be fun. It should be exciting. But in this early stage, right, the tournaments get more attraction. I think that's what we're trying to do with a good production value and get it out to a wider audience, via Twitch and Kick and Solana Gaming and all that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the grand plan, but there's a lot more to come. And like I said, hopefully people just come and check us out, check out Super Phoenix DAO, jump in the Discord, hit us up on Twitter, and then obviously watch for the live streams that'll be coming through. Jose, I know we'll be in touch, so that you guys can get announcements out for us here in the Discord, just for heads up on those game days and stuff, for viewership. But yeah, we should be in great shape, and I think the stuff we're pulling together is really exciting.
Thank you for the conversation, Visual. That was really fun and interesting.
I'm
Awesome.
happy to, and we can have more in the future. I guess
Yeah.
I got involved in skills based and gambling and poker. I've been doing it 12 years, so I've
That's how he
been
he
in front.
bought this beautiful house that you can see on his screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's because it's because I set odds and I predatorily prey on people. I guess gambling is a society. No, I'm just kind of kidding for people who are out there. And one thing, and if you guys want to run, I do want to address that. Like there are different forms of gambling, and not everything is like the movie Casino, and we got mobsters breaking legs, right? Like
Yeah, I gotta go. So sorry.
yeah, yeah. No problem. Thank you for it was your time. I appreciate it a ton. Like,
Thank you.
if I'm watching a
Thanks,
football
guys.
game with my dad and I'm like, hey, at $20, this team wins next. I mean, it's again, and ultimately, it's not a harmful predatory thing. And then also the thing to think about is that at a certain point, all economies change from production to speculation, right? To financial speculation. And ultimately engaging in speculation as an economy, as a financial piece of it, providing that there's just and one of the reasons I think that all economies do eventually move to speculation as a big part of the economy is the entertainment value of speculation, right? We go and we produce at our work, whether if you're a chef and you're making food, or you're a computer programmer and you're driving AI slaves or whatever it is, like we produce, but eventually it moves, there's a financial and a speculation aspect that just, like the old saying, a dollar wagered is more fun than a dollar earned, and like it just kind of is, right? And I don't want to necessarily say that gambling doesn't destroy lives, because people get addicted to that feeling, that dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline loop that you guys can Google, a thing called the scarcity loop, right? That's what drives slot machines. And personally, I think slot machines are basically evil. But I think a game of poker between people who all understand that they're there to have fun and play this game, and that some are going to be better than the other, is completely different form of wagering, in my opinion. And ultimately, like, I don't know how many of you people have life insurance out of there, but you guys can Google this too. Like back in the 1600s at a tavern called Lloyd's of London, people who were invested in ships would go place bets that those ships wouldn't come back from the new land to offset their losses if their ships didn't come home. That whole gambling created this billion-dollar industry we call insurance, right? It's just the flip side of gambling. So, yeah. Um, Anyway, and nobody says the insurance industry is evil, right? You know what I mean? Um, so it's just kind of interesting. I do wanted to put that out there, and I know that gambling can definitely cause the talk of it can cause strong emotions. You know what I mean? Um, so really, everyone says insurance is evil. Maybe they do. I don't know. So.
Yeah, that
I would
was
say the
that
insurance
was
premiums are evil, but yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, um, anyways, that's my rant for it. I did see quite a bit of stuff in the pop through there, and again, yeah, I don't think anybody, at least for me, I wouldn't sleep well at night knowing that I was being a bookie and charging juice and taking money from a guy that couldn't pay his kids food bill that week. So, and that's not, I think, what I would be interested in building, and I don't think that's ultimately what parimutuel or prediction market style wagering does unless people decide to take it that far in turn, so anyways, end
I
the
think
rant.
this is
So
yeah, I think this is a good moment to close. Thank you everyone. Thank you Super Phoenix now. It was super interesting. I'm really looking forward to those events. Make sure you guys are following them. Join their discords, doubles in the chat for the Super Phoenix Pits. We hope to have you guys on stage many, many other times. And to the community here, thank you very much. You guys are always make the Atlas Brew memorables, and we love you all.
yeah, thank
Have
you very much, everybody.
have a great week. And tomorrow we have the Econ Forum. Make sure you don't miss it. Chris is cooking some cool stuff for us. Thank you guys. Have a nice day and see you soon. Bye bye.